Joining me today is Tyler Funk. He is the director and co-producer of the documentary Anything for Fame. And he's here today to talk about the film and the inspiration behind it. Welcome, Tyler.
Hello, thanks for having me.
Yes, no, the film Anything for Fame, was there another title or was this one that just came just like that?
Yeah, honestly, I can't even remember, but yeah, as soon as we started pitching it, that was the title, and it just seemed to capture exactly what we were looking for and the stories we were looking to tell.
Yes. Congratulations, Tyler, by the way. And how has the feedback been like so far?
Yeah, people have seemed to really connected with the film, and I love hearing the feedback. The film is multi-protagonist. We cover 5 different content creators. And I think each person watching the film has a little bit of a different experience based on their relationship with the internet. And so we've heard some amazing feedback of, characters that people love, characters people hate. And that really depends on the viewer. But it's starting these amazing conversations. And it seems to be a film that people keep talking about. I get people messaging me weeks after they've watched it, asking more questions. And as a filmmaker, that's what you love to see.
Yes. And is there a specific demographic or just like all ages, really?
Yeah, I think Anything for Fame really is probably more so for people kind of 35 and up, kind of the generation that lived both before and after the internet. I think if you're in that world where you've always existed on the internet and always been in social media, the film, we've had as young as 13-year-olds watch the film and say they love it. But I think it's more of a look at like what's going on, and depending on who you are and how knowledgeable you are about what's going on. I think there's different levels, but I think that the primary audience to me would be people that are aware of influencers, but maybe aren't sure exactly why they're doing what they're doing or what really goes on.
Yes. And, define fame, like what are the levels, really to get attention, or is it to make money or hoping to get money as an influencer?
Yeah, I think the best definition that we came across when researching this film for fame is to think of it as a currency. It's a currency that can be spent. When you have fame, you get access to certain places. But very much like money, it runs out and it doesn't last forever. And you can't necessarily, always get more of it as easily. And you can get a lot of it very quickly. But that doesn't mean it's going to stick around. And so I really think of fame as a currency. I think internet fame is a more volatile currency than, say, traditional Hollywood fame, which, has more gatekeepers in place and more people around you and more of an industry protecting you. Where really with online fame now, you can go famous for anything. You can create your own genre of content that didn't exist before. And that can be a whole new avenue. And, we saw that with certain creators really pushing the envelope of what is or isn't entertainment.
Yes. And, it's the platform can control you, or it's best if you can control the platform because it can get really overwhelming and too much time spent or trying to create content and, maybe taking risks. Because the film I felt it had such a great message. And Tyler, could you please, explain that?
For sure. We kind of talk about in the film a little bit as fame also as relevance, and that importance that we all have to feel relevant. And, I think it's a very human thing to desire fame and attention. And it's not at all a behavior that we should be ashamed of, but we should be asking, what's that about? Why do I feel the need to have this fame or attention? And can I get that from the people around me? Can I connect closer with my friends and family? Or do I need to get it from strangers across the world? And what does that do when you try and chase people around the world to get that fame? It's a very different pressure, and it's going to put you in a lot of situations to do things that you might not do if you were hanging out with your friends and family. The conversations that we see on X or Instagram or TikTok are very different than people would ever say person to person. And we lose a little bit of humanity, I think, sometimes when we don't see a face there and we're kind of just shouting at each other.
Yes. And there are so many platforms now. There's TikTok, there's Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, but is there a favorite one or a best one, I should say, for a content creator, or does it depend?
Yeah, I think any content creator, I think you need to ask why you're doing it. What is the end goal, right? And I think there's very different rewards in each platform. I would say, for example, YouTube, if you can get to monetizing, has the best pay for creating content, but you need to have kind of more long form content to really exist in that ecosystem. TikTok, you're going to get a lot more views really fast. Like you'll see in our film, Jake Hillhouse, one of our creators, had over 2 million followers. He's hitting views on each TikTok that are the same as Stanley Cup finals, right? But he didn't make a penny, like not a single cent from the platform. And so again, it's, are you trying to sell your brand? Are you trying to get eyes on you? There's different rewards each platform offers, and it takes a little bit of research to really understand those. I think the platforms aren't super forward, really explaining to content creators what they may not be able to accomplish.
Yeah, so I introduced you at the beginning, and what was the inspiration behind this film? Was it something, your own experience, or what drew you to do this film?
Yeah, so it was a very personal experience. I grew up in a small town with a small group of friends, and we all wanted to move to Vancouver and make movies. And that was the goal from grade 6 onwards. And I actually co-created this film with a friend from grade 2, Sebastian Mercado. He was the editor and co-producer on the project. So we've always worked together. We had another friend, Dave, who was an actor. And he would always do the most outlandish, crazy things to get attention. There's no way he would not be the center of attention wherever we go. He was a classic performer in that sense. While we were at film school, unfortunately, David took his own life, and it was a big shock and a really big thing for us to process. And it's taken a long time for all of us to work through. But to me, that was a big reminder of this fine line of looking for attention and a call for help. And so when I started seeing a lot of this similar behavior from content creators online of breaking societal norms, as Dave would always do, I started asking, who are they? What's going on? Why are they doing this? Are they breaking societal norms in a cry for help? And I think some characters in our film are definitely doing that. Or are other ones breaking the societal norms because they know that's the best way to go viral and the quickest way to move up the TikTok algorithm. So I had a genuine curiosity of what was going on, what we were seeing with this next generation of content creators. And we wanted to hear from their stories. And so that's really where the idea started from.
Yes, no, thank you for sharing, Tyler. And how much research was involved? How did you find the content creators?
Yeah, so it was a huge process. I think there's so many different ways to make a documentary. I think sometimes people, arrive at a documentary, and probably the smarter way to do it is someone has a full story and then you say, we're going to film it. We were very much researching this, and, social media changes so fast. At the beginning of this project, TikTok wasn't even around. But, we've been researching different platforms. I'd had a series that had gone viral on Vine back in the day. So I was very familiar with the rise and fall of different platforms. So we actually interviewed and reached out to over 250 content creators. And really specifically, we were always looking at who is pushing the limits, who is doing this for fame and breaking some rules. And then from that, we funneled down and we filmed with about 25 of those content creators. And then about 5 of them kind of made the final film.
That's wonderful. And who's involved in the film? You have the National Film Board. Yes, please tell us.
Yeah, so the film was funded by the National Film Board and the TELUS Fund, and both absolutely amazing organizations. The TELUS Fund has done so much, I think, for funding health and wellness content. And I've worked with them for a few years. We created a series with Jan Arden on caregiving and a bunch of other projects throughout the years. And so they're doing really interesting stuff. And then obviously the NFB is such an honor to work with, just such a legacy in documentary filmmaking. And, we couldn't think of more exciting partners to do our first documentary with. So for us, it was a no-brainer to take the project to the National Film Board and see if they'd be willing to go on the journey with us.
Yes, and how does it feel to have the documentary on the big screen and it's live streamed on the National Film Board? How does it feel now that it's there and it's for you to look at and everybody else to get a message?
Yeah, it's wonderful. It's always people watching your film, and I love hearing from everyone. We've been getting some great tweets and comments and emails, and we've had live screenings and great feedback. And that's always a really amazing part of the process. But of course, as a filmmaker, I'm also, we almost finished it a year ago. We're also busy working on our next projects because it never ends, right? I never think it's just one film. And so we're working on a bunch of other stuff, and I'm very excited though that Anything for Fame is now out there, and people are getting a taste of it.
Yes. Will there be another one like Anything for Fame 2 or?
Yeah, I mean, I would love to do even just like a short doc in 10 years to follow up from everyone. Like, I think that would be awesome, because they've all gone on such amazing journeys so far, and the content creators are all so young. That'll be really interesting to see what they all do next throughout their lives. But yeah, we're working on a bunch of different stories within the content creator influencer space. Obviously from that 250 interviews, there's so many amazing stories. There's so many stories that were fascinating, but they weren't a fit for this project. And so we're really just continuing with a lot of conversations and seeing what kind of gets us excited and what makes us want to get out of bed and go tell another story.
Oh, I love that. And what do you want people to take away from the film?
I think a lot of people have very preconceived notions about influencers and content creators. I think there's a little bit of pearl clutching, even of, the next generation is so terrible. And I hope that people watch the film and understand a little bit more of what the content creators are going through. And that also them as viewers are what encourages a lot of this behavior, right? Like I don't think you're going to see a lot of the kind of stuff that people love to hate on for social media influencers if people weren't watching, and it's kind of that classic thing of everyone claims to be watching cat videos online, but if they were, we wouldn't have this world of influencers. There's also a lot of eyeballs in the attention economy going to this type of content. And I think there needs to be a bit more work done and ownership by viewers to say, hey, if this is the internet I truly want, I can participate. I can create the content that I think is good, which is amazing. It's an amazing gift that we have. But they can also, choose to watch and subscribe. And I think eventually, I just think more empathy will lead to better content creation and overall a better internet for all of us.
Yes. And what I took from the documentary, if I may say, is where the journey, with the parents, you take us along this journey, and it's just like they're growing, and you see the parents, generally speaking, coming around, and it is really, you feel for the characters or for the influencers, and I think you struck it, like you aced it, if I may say, Tyler. I think it's a educational documentary and entertaining as well. But you have to see it. For those who have not seen it, you have to see the film. And I know you mentioned that you're working on other projects. So what is next for you, Tyler? Can you share?
I can't yet, unfortunately. Just the nature of some of the projects.
Okay.
We just need to stuff like that. I wish I could. But yeah, again, I think a goal Sebastian and I have within the documentary world is to create extremely entertaining documentaries. And I think there's a way to create entertaining documentaries that are not exploitative, that are not reality TV, that can still be very educational. And I think that's where we're very excited about Anything for Fame. I think it walks that nice fine line of it's, I think we saw some review online where someone said it was one of the most entertaining docs they'd ever seen. And that's the goal, right? We want the audience to really enjoy the ride. And I never want my films to feel like I'm lecturing or telling the audience how to feel. We want to take you on a wild ride to a different world and then let you make your judgment of how you feel about that.
Yeah, that's wonderful. And where can people see the documentary?
Yeah, so the film is available on Paramount Plus in Canada, France, New Zealand, Australia, and Germany. It's going to be out on cable TV in Spain. For Canada, which is probably most of your viewers, it's available for free on the nfb.ca. Or if you have a subscription to Paramount Plus, you can watch it there. Same copy of the film. So both great spots to check it out.
Yes, Tyler, one thing to know, will it be translated in other languages?
I believe it is for those other markets. I don't know if you have any of your viewers in France or Germany, let us know. Get back to us. I believe it is, but I have not seen those copies yet.
Yes, and so people want to reach out to you. Where can they go, Tyler?
For sure, yeah. I think a great place to find me is either Instagram. My Instagram is very much just my personal Instagram. I post a little bit about the film, but I don't actually promote that much on the platform. But it's a great way to message me. I mainly use it as a messaging app. Or on X or Twitter, you can message me there. or just, my production company is northofnow.ca, and that's where all the business kind of emails come in.
Yes. And is there anything else you'd like to add?
No, I'm grateful for you taking the time and being on here with. It's great to meet you.
Yes, and likewise, Tyler, and congratulations.
Well, thank you. And thank you so much for taking the time to watch it. And I'm sure I'll see you around Vancouver.
Yes. Thank you again.